Hello and welcome to another ramble. This one is from some Cuphead streams I did in late July to early August of last year. I will provide significant commentary on this one. Apologies in advance. Maybe I should just make regular scripted commentary videos if I can't get my point across in the original streams. That would at least make for less disjointed videos. I don't know. Skullcandy Sesh Evos. Shout out to Skullcandy Sesh Evos. Do not buy them. Don't do it. I've bought like 4 too many. Basically, I've only demoed AirPods for a little while. Like, I didn't own them. I haven't owned them before because they're ridiculously expensive, and it's like, I don't know if I'd ever want to pay that much for a product of that quality. In my experience, those have just never lasted very long. Headphones in general, they don't last. I was looking away. They don't last long, a year max. What even is the point of keeping them, blowing a ton on them when you know that they're just gonna break? And it's like, sure, like, I know that the classic answer is, oh, you're just not buying the right stuff. Never bought AirPods before. As well as, I actually just really hated the feel of AirPods. They're not very ergonomic. Is that the word that I was looking for? Don't like them very much. They feel bad in my ears. The way that the bass works by just like pounding a stupid thing. Speaking of pounding, I'm taking one right now and it's not enjoyable. Put the frequencies off to the side. Don't find that to be particularly enjoyable. I mean, it can work, but not for my ears. I'm highly considering trying underwater headphones that use similar methods, but those would entirely use bone conduction, while these would require you to have them shoved in your ear to conduct the bass frequencies properly. And because my ears are not internally shaped like the creatures these phones were designed for, that kind of hurts. Anyway, I'm about to get distracted by my controller and go on a slight tangent, and it's not going to make a ton of sense. Bear with me. This stupid controller and its stupid settings, I just want to hit start. I never want to alt tab. Why would I ever want to do that with my controller? It's a Switch Pro controller. The GameCube Switch Pro controller. I was gonna say a gay dude. Not a gay dude, but a non-binary, pansexual. See, when you actually do it that way, it's like it's not descriptive. It's like you have like no idea what I just described. Like, there's no frame of reference. A gay dude. I'm gonna say it. A gay dude gave me this controller, probably with hopes of something in return later. It did not happen. Anyway, AirPods. Generally, when you've got AirPods, this is what the point of me bringing up AirPods. You know, you stick them in the case. You like open up the case a little bit or whatever. It'll give you a certain like indication of what the battery is at. When they're not full on battery, like 100%, they're gonna show you what the battery is at. They will charge when they're at low battery and you put them back in the case. Like, they work as intended. They will charge. Skullcandy Sesh Evos, they're the second version out of 3, as far as I'm aware, of the Skullcandy Sesh line, which essentially just exists as a cheap competitor to AirPods. They have the Sesh ANC, better features and like better battery life and whatnot. They're extremely quirky. I could detail all of the quirks that they've got. But yeah, these stupid headphones will not charge when they're in the case. They do not charge when you put them back in. You have to have the case open in order for them to actually charge to completion, because that basically will tell it. Like, they have this detection, a pressure point button, whatever, in the hinge. You know, it tells it when to charge. So you have to have it open and to keep it open in order for the dumb thing to actually charge. So there's that. But then sometimes they'll charge, like, it's like they charge for a time limit or something when they're in the case and the lid is closed. When you put it in, it goes through this little thing where it's like, yeah, maybe I'll charge for like a moment, and then it'll just forget about it and be like, yeah, whatever, I don't feel like it. Then they have, like, if you trigger it, it has another timer, but then you have to continually trigger it in order to get like a guarantee. If you don't continually tell it, then it's not going to charge. But then sometimes you can get it to charge. Very, very rarely and very finicky, it'll finally decide to do its job and it'll charge for you. But then what'll happen, it'll like continually charge. It'll kill the battery in the case. Stupid nose is itchy. I actually have like a nose itching problem. It's like when I concentrate or something, my nose just itchy. I don't get it. It's really frustrating. It might be some kind of a tick or something. I don't know. It'll kill the case, and you'd think, you know, if they designed it competently, that it's like, you know, when the battery runs out, we're gonna have the things like stay off. But it's like, no, the reason why the case actually has them turn off is because it actually has like a current running through it. So if the case dies, the the things activate because they think that they've left the case when they haven't. Ideally, you want the case to be the place where the technology assumes itself to be in sleep mode all the time. And what's more is that they already use magnets in order to mount the buds in the case, so they could have just used the damn magnets and turn them on or off. I don't have magnets in my head, so they won't accidentally turn off when I don't want them to, and they'll always be off when in the case, because why the hell would I want to activate them in the case? Now, in order to pair them with each other, you do need the case, but there are easy workarounds for this, like the manual activation outside the case is already required for that step, so it really doesn't matter. It doesn't do that, it kills the case and then they activate, and so that's what I thought happened. I saw the headphone icon on my phone for half a second, and I'm like, I don't want the headphones connected, so I've got to take care of this now, because otherwise it just wastes the battery. If I go into work tomorrow and I actually need to use them, then I'm not going to be able to use them, will I? Beyond that, they have a myriad of other issues. It's always the left ones.
What's with that?
We've had 2 of them that were just duds. The batteries were really bad. I'm not good at soldering. Not that I'm not good. Like, I just can't. I've tried to do so in the past and it's not worked out. Probably like using the wrong solder, or like not really having the tools for the job, rather than like not knowing exactly how to do it. At one point I struggled with this, but it's really not that bad. I swapped out a ton of good batteries and speakers on these now. It's rough because they're tiny and not intended to be taken apart. I wouldn't recommend it, but it's doable. Again, when I end up replacing them, I'm definitely getting something that's designed with repair in mind. That's what I assumed with these, that I knew what I was signing up for. And part of the reason why I didn't want to just like move on entirely from the platform, I suppose, was because I was like, well, I've got a lot of these things that I had from like my brothers giving them to me, or I'm a thrifty person. If something hasn't if something hasn't been used to its full potential, I'm pretty often frustrated by the fact that I don't like wasting things, like anything. So it's like, I know that these batteries still have, essentially batteries, rechargeable ones, every single one of them has a certain lifetime that you're gonna hit eventually. Batteries, reloadable ones, eventually they stop holding charge, the battery health, they don't last forever. Apple's battery health is not the only reason people know about this, for sure. Like, you know, car batteries, those don't last forever. Eventually, you gotta have them recycled. Several good options for doing that. When you get stuff in refurbished or whatever, sometimes the way that it is, if it's already been used, then maybe they're gonna give you a battery whose life has already kind of been expended, or maybe if they refurbish something, they shouldn't give you something that's going to die like immediately. I got these brand new green ones because the ones that I had been using basically just completely dead. There's always the left ones that freak out first. There are loads of them that I've got that they're just completely dead. The speakers are dead. It doesn't make any sound whatsoever, which is annoying when that happens, obviously. It's just like you have them and they're working 1 second and then they're not. Why do I have to sign into iCloud every single time? It logs me out. Other people have to have this struggle, right? It's like, you have to put in the do that. I can't see it. Yes, trust the browser. Like I've trusted it 5 billion times. I haven't changed computers. Nothing's changed. I hate sites that do this. And it's like every single site too. It's like something to do with trusting browsers just doesn't actually take, no matter what. They're always resetting it constantly. It's just like, I've logged in 1 billion times on this computer. 1 billion times. It's because of NAT. It's IP address routing. Wish they could just record MAC addresses or something like that, but because it goes by IP, it resets every damn time your IP resets, which basically means every time your router resets, which could mean every time your network crashes or on a set schedule. It's nice for preventing cyber attacks from people stalking your network, not so nice for logging into iCloud or loads of other sites that want you to be on the same damn IP for your entire life. You know it's my computer. You know it's a new one. You have to actually nuke Apple and Minecraft. It's fine. I can say it on Twitch. The name of the text document is Sesh Evo Retardation. I got one that was red, and this is my first pair. The case has always been from factory, and this was brand new from Skullcandy. I dug in. I could not get receipt or RMA or like anything. Like I could not get my warranty on this one, even though I'm pretty sure I identified this issue within the first year of me having it. The charge time is always ridiculous, and I think the battery life when it actually is charging the buds is fine, but it takes 1 billion years to charge. Like it literally never finishes charging. I don't remember the last time I remember seeing it charged to its full. The left one, the speaker was dead. The charging contacts are really bad. yeah, major charging contact issues. Yeah, it really wouldn't fit up, but then the speaker died, so it's like, why do I even have to bother anymore? The right one, I sat on it over a year ago at my work. I put it in my back pocket. I never really ended up putting them in my back pocket very often, but it was like the one time I put it in my back pocket and I ended up sitting on it and it cracked, and so it popped it open. It actually can't stay closed, so it's really annoying. Like the case, sometimes the end will pop up. The magnet is so strong that it sticks to the bottom because it's like a magnet. The actual magnetized thing, the bottom of it will separate, like the case will crack back open, and so there's just wires keeping these two bits together. Like the bit with the actual speaker in it is in there with the magnet, and then the bit with the actual battery and then the button and everything is in my hand. And it's just like, I'm trying to get out that stupid thing, so I have to grab my Leatherman and I have to use that to hit the magnet and to pull it out. Stupid. See, the right ones tend to be good, and that one's been working for like over 2 years. Never had any real issues with it. It's disappointing, frankly. Black ones my brother gave to me. He didn't really like the way that they felt in his ears, and he had gotten them maybe a couple months before I got mine. The charge time was fine. Now, I think this is a recent issue. It'll lie and it'll say that it's dead prematurely, but you stick it on the charger for half a second and it's like, oh no, I'm awake now. It's really obnoxious. As I highlighted earlier, the issue with dying prematurely, turning on when the thing dies. So it's like it's dying prematurely and they end up turning on every single time it dies prematurely, automatically connecting to your devices. Obnoxious. Obviously not functioning as intended. And these are multiple different ones. I have 4 of them now. 4 pairs of these. Left, the speaker is dying, but it's super quiet, almost not worth using. There's something about the pressure in my ear that sometimes it works, and then sometimes it's not working. It's a little ridiculous. The right one, the speaker died, so it was the first one where the right one actually had a dead speaker, plus an extra single bud that we found on the road once. This was just a sesh, not a sesh Evo, so it was really sus, as I'll detail in a moment. It also had a much shorter battery life, but I was able to retire it a couple months ago and pilfer it for parts. I think I may have accidentally used its battery, which has about 40% less capacity, or at least it dies while its partner has 40% capacity left. I don't mind though, because I've got 2 functional pairs. I did manage to lose the green case like 3 times though. Just barely found it after losing it again, so 3 cheers for me. The street left one had to be manually charged by pressing the button while in the charger case. Will cease charging after a certain amount of time, but can't be turned on until that time elapses and must be manually turned on as well, ? That one is actually like voodoo magic. I have no idea what's up with that one. I've got a gray one from my other brother. Case just has a small dent in it, but like the battery in that one is fine. Left one, speaker dead. Right one, battery dead. The green ones that I've got, case is brand new. Well, not entirely brand new because it's refurbished, and so far left new are new. The left one has a dud battery. It does not retain charge very well at all, and it's only going to get worse. So it's like I have to charge it preemptively in order to use it, which at my work is like sometimes it's like kind of fine. I carry around 2 cases at the same time. I forgot to say, but at the original stream date over a year ago, the green right one was new and in perfect condition. I tend to take all of them with me now, but I haven't had more than 2 functioning pairs for a long time. They're okay when you've got 2 pairs because you can swap them when they die and allow one to charge while you use the other. I used them making the rough cut for this video on a car trip. Good times. Anyway, I did figure out how to repair them, but the left and right have unique boards, and some of them can't pair with each other if they were manufactured at different times. So the red, black, and grey are all fine together, but the greens have different boards or firmware or something. So now I've retired the red and black cases because they refuse to charge in a convenient manner. I have 2 functional pairs. Black left, I swapped with the speaker from the sesh and paired with a better board. Black right uses an old board but a new speaker from one of the greens. Grey left has a green speaker, and I think grey right is the one with the sesh's bad battery. Both of the right ones are missing backs because I don't have any seal with which to fix them, and the piddly little pegs they use to anchor them in are rubbish and snapped off inside the case in the exact same place for both of them. I've been on this setup for probably over a year now. So for spare parts, I've got 3 good batteries and 3 good boards, so only one of those plays nicely with the rest. I think the only board I killed was a red one that I intentionally melted with my soldering iron when I tried to dig into them for the first time. I like to be able to actually read the names of people in the chat, but they have this stupid color that that conflicts with the dark blue. So it's like if anybody's name is dark blue, I guess I can't read it. Very cool design restream. Did not think that one through, obviously. So yeah, considering that it's like I got them for $40 brand new, they were $40 or whatever. The refurbished ones off of Amazon were like 20, and it's like, hey, that's not so bad, is it? Apparently it is so bad. Either way, I plan to use the functional parts from the dud ones until they all die, and then I'll recycle and or throw them out. I really don't want to use these anymore, but number 1, I'm poor, and number 2, I don't want to waste what use I can still glean from them. The speakers will almost definitely die first, and then I'll be left with all these batteries with nowhere for them to go. After some research, I'm pretty sold on Earbuds, given their repairability, but seeing as I don't sell to the the US and they're pretty pricey up front in comparison, I may be out of luck for the time being. The next 2 years could be decent for finding spare parts, however. They seem to be selling pretty low on eBay, and now that I know how to repair them, it shouldn't be too much trouble. So maybe I'll try the bleached blue next. I don't know, I really don't want to use these fucking things for much longer. I kinda wish I could just get only the parts I need without spending like 20 a damn bud. If I had more money, maybe I'd just sell or donate all my old parts and boxes in one lot and be done with them forever. I kind of like the dirt cheap Lenovo ThinkPlus GM2s, but the one I got from Alibaba has pressure issues on one side, and I don't even know how the teardown is for those or how to go about pairing them, so I might have to dig into that, or do better things with my life than artistically fixate on such worthless activities. Sometimes it seems that cheaping out will not pay off because people who refurbish stuff evidently cut corners, and it's fine if like, you just need to have some QC. It's like if you test the battery health of X battery, and here's the thing, like I think it had said that it was refurbished. Maybe it was that they had like a really long shelf time or something like that. As far as I could tell, they weren't recalled units. There are some things that you don't want to get used because there are some things where you will, it's like it's going to outlast you. Like you will never see the end of its life. I think well-manufactured stuff, it'll kind of prove itself with how long it lasts. It's like this thing is never like expected. Wow. God, gamer. The industry doesn't consider itself to have as high of standards. You know, a hard drive you don't really expect to last after a certain amount of time. Hard drives are a bad example. They tend to have a good lifespan, but they will slow over time, while SSDs can't be expected to last the same amount of time because you trade it off for read and write speed. Very worthwhile trade in my opinion. But I have this one stupid Hitachi drive. Actually, I think I've got several of these Hitachi drives. Let's not get too distracted by any of that right now. I'm not sure if I've ever elaborated on this elsewhere, but yeah, I've got a couple 3 terabyte Hitachi drives that are totally insane. They were manufactured in 2011, and most of them have been powered on for over 7 years each, and they're still trucking. Many of my other far newer drives have lasted a fraction of that time, and it's frankly ridiculous, though I'm not sure what conditions they were kept in. If you're gonna go cheap, don't go used unless they're dirt cheap. Get refurbished on warranty. Go hard drive is pretty fantastic in my experience. Hairpin. I don't know why I've been liking that phrase so much recently when describing like something that's extremely accurate or close quarters. Hairpin. I mean, it's descriptive. I'm not incorrectly using the term, I'm just using it a lot. Sometimes that happens. I don't know if this is something that other people look out for, or if I'm just extremely receptive to tiny little things and quirks in people's communication and behavior, but there are some things that some people repeatedly say. If you hear them talk enough, you'll see. It's very interesting to observe, you know, using people as a little bit of a science experiment. I mean, it's fun to see like how people work and their quirks and everything. There are phrases that people will repeat, and I stay aware of mine because sometimes it kind of bothers me that I'll continually, habitually use certain phrases. I haven't got to say the exact same phrase to describe something every single time, but you know, sometimes it just works that way. It's a fickle thing. I know the last couple of streams I've been habitually saying it's fine, but it's just like that's simply because of what I'm dealing with in like screwing up in the game and being frustrated. It's like a code. It's not something that I like normally say, though perhaps it's starting to be. I keep trying to get that like now that I've pointed it out that I keep saying hairpin, I don't want to say it anymore. It's like, oh, I want to get that hairpin spacing. No, now you're not allowed to say it. So I saw Oppenheimer. That was good. Then I saw Barbie. That wasn't good. So I'm going to see it as a very culturally divisive film, to be sure. I'm still quite tempted to do a massive critique on it, but I may have better things to do, like praising The Iron Giant or deliberating The Book of Life vs. Coco. And yet I've still very little time to do any of that. Pity. That's been an interesting, I suppose you could call it a tick. I get this at work mostly. I think it started at work, but I'm not sure if work is what caused it initially. Probably just my brain. My brain does weird things. Probably what caused it initially. Die, holy crap. I'll do that little, it's like a little subconscious thing. A little bit of like a loading. My brain is loading up things. Strange note to end on, but hey, strange is who I am. It's a superpower. I'm still working on several projects, but I stream when I'm willing and ready, so you can check me out on Twitch if you're interested. Adieu, adieu. I thought I was thinking, leaving my child behind. Now I suffer the curse, no one died.